What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the brand new batch that's coming for the upcoming treasure map. We got new Sabo, new Hack, new Koala, and I gotta say, when I heard that this was going to be the new batch, I was extremely disappointed. Like, this is just like, it just feels like the most lazy, bare bones, TM related batch I can think of. Like, last month was so random, we had like the summer stuff at the start of the month, and then for some reason we got like Ace, Blackbeard, and Marco. Like, it was like the most random thing ever. And they're just doing the same thing here, where, you know, we start off the month with, you know, the Figureland, Garling, and Garp, and now we lead into Sabo, Hack, and Koala. It's the most left field thing ever. Another reason why I really didn't like this selection of characters is because a couple years ago, during the global anniversary, we had a treasure map Sugo-Fest, which featured these three units: a new Sabo, a new Hack, and a new Koala. They're just doing the exact same treasure map batch, and we'll actually go through their abilities and stuff, but obviously they're different batch of characters, they're different units, but just still, like, extremely weird that they'd even do that. It's just a repeat TM Sugo batch. Really strange. Either way, let's actually get into this and break down these characters. I guess another side thing we should probably mention is the tavern does look a little bit different with the most recent 15.1 update. You can see the top of the screen there. We have the gems on the right, and then we've got the tavern medals on the left, which it looks like OPTC Run will probably give us some of those, and they may be available with other things in the future. We'll see. Let's go ahead and get into this one, okay? So the banner is actually going to be starting August 9th. Part 2 of the Sugo-Fest, August 10th. Part 3 on August 11th. So this looks like it's not going to be One Piece Day related. I believe One Piece Day will have its own dedicated Sugo-Fest once it's revealed on the One Piece Day live stream, and then from then on, probably the day after the stream, we'll get it in the game, is my assumption. At this point in time, we don't know what it's going to be yet. We know that it's not a Super Sugo-Fest, so it's just going to be a regular banner that's going to be like a celebratory event. Nothing majorly special. We'll have to wait and see once it's revealed in terms of what it's actually going to be. But let's actually get into breaking down these character abilities. So let's go ahead and have a look at Sabo. Now, one thing that is interesting, when you first go to these character screens right here, the Sabo, you can see at the bottom, he's level 110. And then it's weird because normally if you pull the unit, a character comes at level 99. Well, can max out at 99. What they're doing here is that it looks like if you pull Sabo, he's going to be able to go to level 110 like immediately, which is really interesting. I guess number one, it gives you more damage when you pull a new unit immediately because of you know, the damage cap feature, the damage cap multipliers. So that's interesting. And then in terms of what Sabo does, he's a super tandem boost character, so you want to use him alongside a character that has a super tandem ability. So let's go ahead and break down exactly what he does. So Sabo's captain ability: you get 2 turns of cooldown at the start of the fight. Dex, Cerebral, and Fighter characters get a 5.5 times attack boost when you have a matching slot, 5 times otherwise, which feels a little lower than normal. I don't know if that's stock standard. I don't know, just, I guess coming off of that Super Sugo-Fest when we have like so many characters above a 6 times multiplier, going back to a 5.5 just feels really weird. 1.25 times HP. Everyone else still gets a 4 times attack boost. Strength, Dex, and Recovery slots will be matching. And then you get a certain effect based on your tags. So he also gives Revolutionary Army characters 1.1 times damage, which I guess is pretty cool. And then if 4 or more Revolutionary Army characters are on the team, then you launch the following effect at the start of the quest. You get a 3.0 to 35 chain boundary for 5 turns, and reduces versus and super switch gauge by 2. That's a pretty neat ability, but again, you gotta really think about this. The only real usefulness is if you have the other Rev Army characters. So if you have Mole Karasu, which is really hard to get. If you have Monkey D. Dragon Ivankov Kuma. If you have that character with this, it's going to help you out a lot. If you have Ginny, a lot of people don't have all these characters at once. But if you have them, this Sabo may be an additional piece that makes those teams even better. Okay, so captain ability wise, I'm not overly happy with this. This is just like kind of whatever. I'm not that excited. I'm not doing any pulls for this guy. I'll say that. So moving on from that, his super type ability mentions that you need to have 3 of the following characters on the crew, which already feels extremely bad. And I'm just thinking, like, in terms of the TM, right? That like, let's say the best case scenario for the treasure map is you want to use the new Sabo, the new Koala, and the new Hack. You still need one additional character in order to activate the super type. That in general just sounds so annoying. So I don't really know exactly what they want you to do. I mean, Monkey D. Garp is one of the characters you can use alongside this. So they really want you to use Garp, Koala, and Hack in order to actually use the super type. It just feels super weird, man. I'm not a big fan. 150 times his attack and non-type damage to all enemies. You get a Dex, Cerebral, and Fighter character. Color affinity boost 2.5 times for 1 turn. And further increase your attack and orb boost by 0.4. I will admit, a 0.4 increase from a super type is actually very strong. But, like, another thing is that the activation for his super type, you can't use it as a crewmate, which I think the fact that you need 3 characters for a super type and you can't use it as a crewmate just feels even worse. I don't know what they're thinking, man. Like, you have to use him as a captain in order to get that. I'm not a fan of this at all. I don't like his design. The special ability also feels kind of mediocre. You get the 6-turn removal of attack down and chain reduction. So removing chain is kind of weird, but it does kind of make sense considering you can potentially get a chain boundary from his captain ability. And then you also boost Cerebral, Dex, and Fighter chain multiplier growth rate by up to 0.7 for 2 turns. And if the number of strength and Dex slots used in your normal attacks before you launch the special is 10 or more, or you have 5 or more turns of tap timing bonus damage when you launch the special. So that's a pretty harsh condition to fulfill, especially in short form content, you know, because you want to have his captain ability to generate that chain boundary for you, but then you also want to consume all these slots. Like, it can be really difficult. Or you have tap timing bonus damage. So if you have one of those conditions fulfilled, when you launch the special, it applies a weakened status to all enemies for 1 turn, doesn't go through full immunity. And if 4 or more Rev armies are on the crew, you apply a Dex type territory for 2 turns. So Dex territory is definitely a nice touch and will help out the Rev army team because they're so Dex focused at the moment. But that weakness thing is pretty mid, the fact that it doesn't go through full immunity. It's pretty rough. So you get 1.5 times damage taken, and then damage increases by a further 1.3. That's a very big weakness buff. That might be the biggest weakness buff in the game. 1.5 multiplied by 1.3. It's a 1.95 weakness. Like, that's really high, but it doesn't go through full immunity. So it's really not actually going to be as useful as you think, right? It's kind of a weird one. He does have the Super Tandem boost, as we mentioned, and at level 5 you get a level 5 boost for Egghead and Rev Army, so long as it's a Rev Army character that performs the Super Tandem. So I think it's actually a pretty good Super Tandem boost, all things considered. But again, it's a TM legend, so getting that buffed is actually going to be kind of tough. As for his crewmate abilities, removing 1 turn of despair as a crewmate is actually incredibly good. And then also says that if you have a Cerebral or a Dex type territory, 200 base stats if he's a crewmate, which is, again, like, not bad, I guess. His support effect attaches to only Koala and Hack, and if you use the special to give color affinity or an orb boost, you get a Fighter and Cerebral tap timing chain growth up to 0.6. That, from a support effect, is very strong, but at the same time, it only attaches to 2 characters, Koala and Hack, which can definitely kind of hurt. I guess let's go ahead and talk about the Rumble stuff. So let's go ahead and have a look. So his Rumble ability gives Dex and Cerebral units 6 HP, 6 speed, and Rev Army units get 6 attack, 6 recovery, 6 defense. So of course, if you're running the Rev Army characters that are also Dex, or the Rev Army characters that are also Cerebral, this guy is providing a ton of stats to those units, which is honestly pretty cool. Let's go ahead and have a look at the special ability here. He's an attack style unit with a 27 CT. And it will go ahead and give Dex and Cerebral teammates 5 attack, 5 speed for 20 seconds. And then targets large range for 4 times damage. And then targets your Rev Army teammates for a 5 defense and a level 3 shield. I think this is a great special for a 27 CT. There's not really much else you could really ask for. Like, yeah, you're not doing damage through defense, but 4 times damage is still pretty high multiplier. And then also giving your Rev Army units a defense and a shield buff. That's actually pretty incredible, all things considered. Like, it's actually pretty good. he's not only doing that, but also giving like attack, speed, defense, and a shield from a special on top of doing pretty decent damage. Like, I think this guy's actually solid. He's actually a solid unit, and the fact that he starts, he comes pulled at level